Do not let the perceptions of others affect who you are in your own head. This is true for so many reasons, and especially in this age of content creation and likes on social media, and also the general desire to have a lot of friends. This is a dangerous pitfall to go under because if you build yourself and your identity based on something external, like the opinions of others, that is something so fragile that your life can turn around in a second. And do you really want to build your life based on something so volatile? There's a scripture that says, the wise man builds his house on the rock, and the foolish man builds his house on the sand. In my case, in my life, I've almost always built my house on the sand. From a young age, maybe in middle school, I had an obsession with validation, with likes on Instagram, with how many friends I had. You see, I grew up as a Chinese American, and because of that, I never felt like I truly fit in. I had a lot of friends in my Chinese church that would live in a different area, and it was an area full of Chinese Americans, Korean Americans, and I was always jealous of them because they had friends that looked like them. They had friends that shared the same interests and shared the same upbringing. But in my school, I was uh, within a there was no Asians, there was no Chinese Americans, and that made me feel like I was missing something. And what I went for was I never felt like I really fit in. And so I would always try to become popular, right? Become accepted. And in my head, the way to do that was popularity by Instagram followers, by how many friends I seem to have, how many people seem to know my name, how many people I knew, how many people I said hi to. And this especially became an idol for me in college. And college is found when I thought I found my people. I became involved in a religious organization where we had this common interest of religion, and we all were one big dramatic happy family, and I would know a lot of people. I was super involved in this ministry, and at some point I really started to develop this ego because I knew so many people, because I had so many friends. And long story short, a rumor got spread about me and everyone dropped me. And imagine what if you built your whole identity in all these people and what they thought of you. Because that's what it was. I was obsessed with what other people thought of me. And imagine that getting destroyed overnight. You see, when we build our identity in what other people think of us, or how many likes you get on Instagram, or how much money are you making through your social media channels, or whatever, a lot of us get tricked into putting our self-worth into those things, into the follower count, into the how many friends you have, the validation you get, yada yada. What happens if that all goes away? You see, I moved from that place and I live in a quiet suburb now with essentially no friends. And I've been lost. Who am I? Who am I? What who's there to tell me who I am? You know? And so, yeah, like the analogy, the wise man builds his house on the rock and the foolish man builds his house on the sand. It is important that we build ourselves up on things that are reliable, right? Whether that's our opinion of ourselves or something spiritual that's bigger than us, or people that love us unconditionally. Hopefully, we have these people in our lives. Maybe it's your parent, maybe it's a friend that's been with you for years. These are rocks that we can build our lives on. And don't get caught up in the external validations of life that are actually very fleeting in nature. Of course, there's nothing wrong with things like friends, there's nothing wrong with being popular or being famous on Instagram or making money on Instagram. Just know that your self worth has nothing to do with that. It has nothing to do with that, and it's ultimately from within. Because when things go south, and you've confused your self worth with these external validations, it will be very, very bad news. And so, how do you know that if you are being controlled um, by these external fleeting validations? That's something that's kind of hard to tell. But if you get to a point where you don't spend any alone time and you're scared of it, and instead you fill your lives with noise and per, like putting a bunch of messages out on social media on your close friend story. I was so guilty of that. And you love to surround yourself with people, but you're scared of being alone. That's a little bit of a sign. So, yeah, try to spend some time alone. Try to meditate. Try to take a shower without music or take a walk without music. These are things that give us time to really reflect on ourselves and to spend some time with ourselves, which is the most important thing when it comes to learning about who you are and detaching yourself from the external validations that we confuse our reality with. But yeah, that's all for today. Have a great night or morning.